Distracting.
Hi everybody, welcome to yet another live stream. More chaos with the whole flock, and I thought we would start today with baby Olive, who is chatting away. Have you got something to say for yourself? Are you very excited? Are you excited to see everybody? I know how much everyone loves baby Olive, so I thought why not have her out at the start, because she's a little hero and she may want to try and destroy the laptop. Let's hope not. How about instead let's start something to go on, and we can have a yummy treat-filled straw. Isn't that nice? Right. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming. Again, another exciting live stream. I do really enjoy doing these live streams and kind of chatting with you guys. And David helps me with, keeping up with the chat and stuff like that. So, yes, thanks for coming. We will be doing the usual kind of things. If you've got any questions or any kind of particular topics you want me to chat about, I've got some notes and things to talk about, but do just shout them in the comments and we can have a bit of a discussion about what we can talk about today. Hi everybody, everyone's joining. Hi Anne. Hi everybody. I will try my best to kind of say hello to everyone, but obviously it's wonderful that there's so many people here, and it's really hard for me to keep up with the chat with these shocking eyes of mine. So that's why David helps me. David can hear you typing. He loves to slam that keyboard. It really distracts me sometimes. There was a comment at the start, I think by Jen, about birds not really eating veggies and that kind of thing. And I do have a video all about how to get your bird to eat vegetables. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend checking that out. But there are lots of different ways to convert your bird onto a healthy diet. But the key is persistence and not letting your bird train you. Sometimes we'll try and convert our birds onto a healthy diet and they'll kind of look at us like, oh, I'm starving hungry, when you've just provided them vegetables and give those sort of puppy dog type eyes, and then you'll give them, the all-seed diet. And then they'll know that all they have to do is keep pretending that they're starving and, you just give in. So that's something to bear in mind. I'm not saying that's what everybody does, but it's something very common. So yeah, just keep at it, keep persevering. It takes as long as it takes, and that's okay. But keep trying. Sprouting is one of the best ways to kind of get your bird trying new things and healthier things, because when you sprout seeds, grains, and legumes, it kind of takes the fat reserves from those items and uses them up in the sprouting and germination process and makes them healthier. So they're a healthy alternative to seeds. Not that you can't have seeds in your bird's diet, but the other cool thing is they're kind of a bridging tool between things like seeds and vegetables, because they're sort of alive and green and things like that. So that's something I would consider getting started with. And again, I have a video all about sprouting. If you're ever wondering about a topic, I've probably got a video on it. And if I don't, let me know, because then I can make a video.
2 questions.
Yeah, let's start with some questions and then we'll get into some other housekeeping stuff.
So you have a question from Tracy. So I've had my bird now for 3 weeks and I still can't get him to come to me. I can't even offer him a treat as he just runs away. So it's basically a bonding question.
Okay, that's not uncommon. Again, coming to a new home, even if it's a loving home like yours, Tracy, is quite scary for a lot of birds. So I'd recommend just doing passive bonding. Again, I have got a video on kind of trust building and that kind of thing, so I highly recommend checking that one out. But passive bonding is so important. So just sitting by your bird's cage and basically ignoring them, doing your own thing, again, watching one of our videos, or just kind of being in their space without trying to directly interact, because sometimes that can be quite overwhelming for some birds. So try some passive bonding to start off with, but also have a look at the diet as well, because if you're trying to get them to take treats and maybe you haven't got the diet where you want it to be yet, there's not really much incentive for your bird to come to you, because there's maybe lots of seeds and stuff in the diet, potentially, depending on what diet you have your bird on already. So why would they want to come to the human they don't really know just yet to interact? So Olive's very excited. You can give Daddy a kiss.
Is that what you want?
Daddy kiss. Oh, he's so smart. And if you find that you're having trouble with diet conversion as well, try and do this training where you're offering treats through the bars before you give them breakfast, so you're more likely to have some success. Olive's desperate to chew up his laptop. You have more success that way, because you will...
You're not sure.
Throw me off. Your bird will have more hunger. We never want a bird to be starving, but they'll be slightly more hungry in order to want to interact, because they won't have those kind of seeds and things there present first thing in the morning. What do you want? What do you want? Do you want to say, hello, everybody? Say hello, live stream. You're very smart, aren't you?
So Anne's also got an issue.
Yeah.
Budgie. So my budgies are very hormonal. 2 are breeding. 3 are very aggressive to my cockatiels. What can I do? Her mum suggests just keep them caged all day, which obviously isn't an ideal solution.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, keep them caged all day when they are hormonal, because they think that that is going to help with the situation. But actually, falling off my hand, that's actually going to make things worse, because they won't have a chance to get out all of their excess energy, which is potentially feeding into some of the hormonal behaviour. So in fact, you want to have them out more if possible, but also getting them more active, whether that's mentally or physically active. So more complex foraging, more opportunities for foraging outside, recall and stationing training as much as you can do. Again, because a tired bird is less likely to be hormonal, because they've been using up all of that excess energy on doing other things like exercising. And again, exercise doesn't have to be flight training. It can be other things. But obviously, flight training is kind of the one that we initially think of. It could be on a swing. You want to go on the back of the chair? It could be going on the back of the chair. It could be just lots of stepping up training. It could be dancing. There's lots of different things that you can use for exercise, but keeping birds in the cage when they are hormonal is probably going to make things a lot worse. Increasing sleep, we talk about this all the time, to kind of shock your bird's body into, thinking it's not breeding season. You can increase the sleep to about 14 hours for a week, and then see how you get on, having a look at the diet, making sure you're not sort of overfeeding or feeding particularly abundant foods. Olive's like, where are we?
You're not going to spin.
Oh, she's so smart. Olive, basically, everyone's here for Olive's live stream, and I'm just here, no one really wants to see me. They just want to see Olive. So yeah, I'd highly recommend increasing activity levels, because that's going to be your best friend if you're doing all the other things that normally help with hormones correctly. Was there another question? Or
Tracy's still talking about her bird. It won't even entertain coming out of his cage, and I leave the door up to see come and go. But don't forget, it's still early days for you and your bird, Tracy. You need to do a lot more passive bonding. Both me and Sophie have videos targeting through the bars, being very patient, finding out his favourite treat. Is all sorts of things that need to be tried. And it takes as long as it takes, annoyingly. It's one of those situations where you just have to do what you've got to do.
There's definitely a lot of content online which suggests that, you bring a bird home and it's got to come out immediately. And, if it's not interacting immediately, something's terribly wrong. But actually, if your bird isn't step-up trained or target trained, letting them out of the cage immediately can potentially be a really bad idea, because they may crash land and you'll have to keep catching them up every time you need them to go home. And that's going to break trust every time you have to do it. So it's about working on building the bird's confidence up, and it's going to take as long as it takes. And it's okay if it takes a long time. We always recommend having a really good sized cage as well, so that your bird isn't missing out if it is having more in-cage time currently. That's something to consider as well. And again, there's lots of resources on our channels about cage setups and bonding and taming and trust building, stepping up, targeting. There's loads of different resources there. So I highly recommend just having a look at some of the playlists that we have as well. We've kind of bundled a lot of content in together. Hi Dara, lovely channel member and patron. I've got to shout you out. And obviously Jean's a patron as well. Klaus is here. Hi Sherry. David's going to be reading out questions to me, so if I am taking a little bit of time, that's why. But I will get to all of your questions. Shall I talk about the course first?
Yeah.
And then we can talk about it later as well. So while Olive is chilling on the stand behind me, I thought I'd just talk about our course. I know we're going to be talking about it all the time until it happens. But our live parrot nutritional enrichment training course is now live to book. We're really, really excited for this course. We're really excited to have you learn with us all about nutritional enrichment for parrots. This may also help with things like diet conversion as well, offering foods in different ways and also offering a really enriching diet. So if you are interested in our course, again, check out our socials. I've also got a YouTube community post with the link on there. We've tried to make it as affordable as possible. And also we have 2 different time slots. So we have 9 a.m. GMT, which works really well for, I think it's like Australia, New Zealand, Asia, and people who like to get up really early in the UK. And then we also have a slot. This is all on the 11th of March, which is a Saturday. The other slot we have is 7 p.m. That works really well for North America, South America, and UK and that kind of thing, and Europe and that sort of thing. So there's a time slot hopefully for everybody. I've tried to cater to well, we have tried to cater, it's not my course, it's Best Behaved Birds course. We tried to cater for as many different time zones as possible. So we really hope that you are going to be able to join us. It is £15, that's British pounds, to join. So do go and check that out after the live stream, because we're just so excited to be running it finally. And hopefully, if all goes well, there may be more bits and pieces in the future, but we'll have to wait and see. I see David has linked our course in the chat. This is why he helps me, because he's really useful.
I mean, the chat is like exploding a little bit.
The chat is going a little bit. The chat is lit.
Let's
is
go straight back to Adara, because Adara is sort of going around other questions. So Adara has mentioned, how cold is too cold to take your birds outside? I have an extra cage I wanted to set up for some outdoor time, but it's only going to be 51 degrees Fahrenheit, but the sun is out.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, in Celsius, because
David's
going to find out, because we work in Celsius in the UK.
10 degrees.
10
it's
degrees.
Not too terrible.
It's not too cold, but the real issue with kind of taking birds out when it's like 10 degrees Celsius or 51 degrees Fahrenheit is if your bird isn't out frequently, they may not be adjusted to that kind of temperature. It's kind of different for birds who live in aviaries, who get used to temperature fluctuations and that kind of thing and have time for their body to adapt, or free flyers who take their birds out every single day, so they're exposed to these different temperatures every day. If you don't do it too often, it's probably better to wait till it's maybe like 14 degrees Celsius or higher. You kind of judge it, because obviously if it's windy, it's going to feel colder. I think the kind of general rule is if you need to have like a jumper, hoodie, sweatshirt, whatever on to go outside, it's probably going to be a little bit too chilly for your bird if they're not used to being outside all the time. So that's the kind of general rule I'd go with, because of course, I could say 14 degrees Celsius, but if it's really windy or shady, it may feel chillier. So that's just something to bear in mind as well.
Let's cover Ash's question, Ash88's question. We can go back to Tracy a little bit. She's got some sort of talking a little bit more about her problem. Have you ever had any issues with parrots being jealous of each other? I have a very jealous green-cheeked conure who will dive bomb the other birds while never getting attention from anyone in the house. It's especially bad with myself, and it's worse with my 15-year-old nephew, which doesn't like anyone giving any of them too much attention.
So we often find this can be linked with hormones, because that's the sort of behaviour that comes out. Any kind of dive bombing or attacking type behaviour can definitely be linked with hormones. In terms of with people, we would recommend having the other people in the house maybe doing some target training through the bars, so there is a protected contact there, so that there's protection from your bird. They feel safe, they can choose to participate or not. There's protection for the human as well, because then they know they're not going to get dive bombed. But training through the bars is really valuable. Even if your bird and human have been interacting in the past, you can kind of go back to basics that way, and repair some of that relationship and get things back on track. With the other birds, again, David's got a really awesome video on kind of bonding birds up. And again, you can go back to some of the communal bonding basics like communal training, communal foraging, and really strip it right back and then build it back up again. But I'd recommend having a look at some of maybe hormonal triggers that could be present, things like sleep setups, covering, cozy huts, diet, and whether it's quite mushy or wet, whether there's a lot of abundance in certain foods, whether there's activity levels. There's lots of different things to consider, but that's typically what we find as a base thing. But obviously it's more complex than that. So that's just my initial kind of thoughts. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
I'm just following chat mostly. It is about managing the hormones. It's also about it's also about teaching the conure to share. It's like conditioning the conure to be able to share even when slightly hormonal, because hormones are going to be a thing. It's a big thing for a lot of people right now. It's causing a lot of trouble, but it's just teaching,
While you're talking, I'm just going to put Olive back again.
I'll just put my face on the screen for a second. Hi. Yeah, it's about teaching your parrot to share and being okay in that scenario. I hope that makes sense, basically. I don't want to take over Sophie's live stream here. Tracy as well, with regards to the cockatiel, teaching the other cockatiel, I presume it's cockatiels because they're hissing. It may happen, but honestly, the solution is the same. Basically, pairing yourself with positive things, working on bonding work, passive bonding, just building your bond up, and also maybe training with the other cockatiel in front of the new one, so they can see that you're not a threat. And so the flock dynamic will build. It does work, because they learn from each other. It's one of the best reasons to train between birds. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. And I thought we get the little scramble man. Pickles, please come and join us. Do you want this? We love apples.
So, and did you suggest like separate outings as well for Anne in the interim when dealing with a budgie hormone?
I didn't, but that's a good idea as well.
Yeah, so I sort of suggested in chat, but so I sort of said, why not just teach the little one to be in a cage a bit more? And Anne's like, it's not sure about it. It's more of a Velcro bird, hates to be near me. You'll play in the cage, but that's only, again, it's a separation anxiety thing that could be worked on to help the situation in general, as difficult as that can be. Sherry's got a question.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi. We may not have had them, Sherry, but we have worked with them, worked with Africa Greys a lot, and this is recently as well through consult. So, hello, Sophie. I know I have an African, but my Lola plucks and has a collar on. But when I take it off, all the feathers go back to a few weeks without the collar, but she's starting to pluck again. What do you think about that? What would you do about that?
I would say it's really worth trying to find out why she's plucking. Sorry, I'm just going to try and cover the keyboard, so I'm making a lot of noise. Just because Scampy is obsessed with the keyboard, and I don't want him to end the live accidentally. I would look for the cause of it. There are lots of different reasons why birds pluck. It could be hormones, it could be stress, it could be environmental, it could be diet-wise. It's really hard to know. But that's where I would start, because if she's plucking again after the collar's come off, there could be still an underlying thing that's making her want to pluck. And I apologise, Chip and Fish are going to kick off, so they may have to come out instead. But that's where I would look. And there are lots of different things. My hair's getting a bit weird. There are lots of different things that you can do for a plucking bird, like offering calming foods. I have a video on calming foods, increasing training, like structured training. There's also a possibility there could be like a dietary intolerance. It's not really something that's particularly looked at in parrots, but it's definitely a thing. Some parrots are sensitive to certain foods. Yeah, it's a clever scam. Yeah, there's loads of different reasons, but I would look at the causation of the plucking rather than anything else, if that makes sense. Hopefully.
Can you say hi to Shirley Ann, please, as well?
Hi, Shirley Ann.
So Tracy says, do you suggest having one out at a time for now? I'd say yes.
Yeah,
definitely. So this is a question we can relate to. I think most people in the chat and everyone can relate to this. Hello. Excuse me. Odd question. Do you love how your flock smells? I love smelling like cognac.
Yes, everyone's got different smells. I will confess, yeah, David's going to go get a drink. They're probably going to follow. Are you going to follow him?
Are you going to come with me?
No, you're going to go with Mummy. Okay, we're gonna scream until David's back. I've gone so well. I've had like 2 live streams where they haven't been noisy, and we're going for a noisy one today. So yes, I love the way they smell. It's always good to have a good sniff. I will confess that because these two have been a little bit hormonal recently, there's a very stinky member of the flock, baby Pickles. She smells a bit weird because they have been a bit hormonal. Birds do actually change their scent when they're hormonal as well, if you haven't seen my video on reasons why a bird smells. So Pickles is a little bit stinky, but Kipling has a nice smell. His is quite unique. I don't know if it's just because he's a crimson bellied and he's different to the rest of the flock. Chip kind of sometimes smells a little bit like popcorn, which is really cool. And Fish smells like cucumber, and then vice versa. Scampy smells quite hard to describe. Louis doesn't really like us having a good sniff at this point in time.
I managed it the other day. We were too happy.
It sort of accosted him for a sniff. Olive, thank goodness, Olive smells just like a normal conure now, because when we rescued her, because the person we rescued her from, or the situation over multiple homes, she had been touched all over her body, and all of the oils from these people's hands made her stink. Like, we were literally gagging because she stank when she first came to us. So luckily, with lots of molting and appropriate petting and washing and that kind of thing, she doesn't smell anymore. But yes, I definitely love a good sniff of the birds. What else was I going to say?
What's our favourite type of bird?
Oh, I get asked this all the time. Sometimes it changes.
It must be from conures, given how many we've got.
I mean, we've got a lot of conures.
You can't have this pickle.
We've got a lot of conures, as you could probably hear.
You have a little bit around the edge.
I just love all birds. I mean, even the small brown ones, you know, just every bird. Love ducks. I love all birds. I can't possibly pick. It's just, yeah, anything with feathers is the one. Do you want to come and say hello to everybody, Pickle?
Is she going to be mean?
Probably. Do you want to say hello? Where's the treats? Ready? Can you say, hi, everybody? Hello. Can you do your big wings? you do your big wings, ready? Wings! Oh, look at those lovely wings. Oh, they're so nice. David's hopefully going to have another question with me for me, but first,
quickly with Sherry, we've been to the vet. So getting like health issues eliminated from like plucking issues is always a great first step. So if it is behavioural, if behavioural stress related, then you need to tackle the behavioural stress related causes. Diet supplementations are always good, but you can look at those behaviours and you can see how you can improve. Again, I was following chats. So I'm not sure what Sophie suggested already, so I don't want to repeat what you've said.
Yeah, it's a very tricky one, and sometimes we can't always know. But also, the really hard thing about plucking, if you do big wings, is sometimes you can solve the initial cause of plucking, but then the plucking itself has become a habitual behaviour, and then birds can continue to do it even after the initial issue has been rectified. So that's something to really bear in mind, that you could be doing everything right after this initial plucking period, and then things go wrong. Just quickly show, because I can't remember how many African greys you have. Is the one that's plucking the one who laid the egg? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, that'd be a big
because
big factor.
if it is, that could potentially be a massive factor, hormone related. But you can always drop me a DM as well. So it's hard to manage conversation sometimes in the chat. But if it is your African grey, yeah, there we go. So it could be the egg laying and the hormones situation. So I recommend trying to mitigate hormones as much as you can. And if you find that you're doing absolutely everything you possibly can, it might be worth talking to your vet about the different hormone implants. They were just like choking on this drink or something. The different hormone implants and options that there are as a last resort for hormones, because it's possible that could be a thing.
I can try and find one.
David's looking at links, right? So something else I wanted to say before we get on to other questions. I've had a lot of people say to us that our videos or lives or shorts, whatever it is, are not appearing in the subscription feed. Hopefully most of you will be subscribed already, but a lot of people have been saying that our videos just aren't appearing, and obviously we're seeing that in our views. There's a bit of a weird thing going on with YouTube at the moment, with views being really low across the board. It's not just us, but obviously it's quite obvious when we're a small creator. I contacted YouTube and I was like, what's going on? And they're like, everything's fine. It's like, clearly it's not. But they recommended, if you want to make sure that you always see our videos when they go out. What are you doing?
I'm trying to link the video. I think I just linked it to my studio page. So
okay, David's just distracting me.
I just shut down your fingers.
Right. David's just left the chat. What am I saying? Right. If you want to make sure that you never ever miss one of our videos or lives or anything like that, go on to either our YouTube channel pages or onto any video. I'm not sure if it works on a live, but any video, and scroll down to the notification bell and make sure that's turned on for everything, because then you're going to get notifications and reminders anytime any of our content comes out. Otherwise, it's possible it could just get kind of lost somewhere, as it does, because YouTube is just going through this really weird phase for the last few months where nothing gets seen. I see it as a viewer of YouTube as well, with creators I want to watch. Sometimes their stuff just doesn't appear in my sub box. It's really annoying. So if you want to make sure you never miss out on any of our videos, make sure, it sounds really cringy, hit the notification bell, like and subscribe, all that rubbish that people say in every video. I don't want to have to say it in the videos, but I think we might have to, because people are missing out.
We're missing out. People don't see it because no one's, Do you know, I don't know, Sunshine Treasures asked if a Fiona Deluxe cage is good for lovebirds, but I'm not familiar with that.
I'm not familiar with it. If you've got me on any socials, or you can email me, drop me a link to it, and I will have a look. Because sometimes some cages are called something, but they're called something else where we are, and that kind of thing. So drop me a link somewhere and I can have a look for you. Do you have any other questions?
Someone's like, do you want a female parakeet? I was like, well, we get offered birds too often. Maybe if we had enough space for a parrot rescue, sure, but until then,
if YouTube could show our videos to everybody, and we could be as big as one of my favorite channels, which is Snake Discovery, then maybe we could take on all the birds. But we get offered birds all the time. You would not believe how many birds we get offered.
It's funny. I actually remarked the other day how it doesn't happen that often. Since I said
it does.
It's been constant.
It does. Even in this last week, I've been offered a lot of birds, and obviously, we can't say yes to everybody because we do not have the space for them. So, if you want us to take on more birds, make sure people see our YouTube videos.
We can't ask for cash. I'm
not asked. Absolutely not. Never ever would ask people for money.
Unless you're Mr. Beast, we'd ask Mr. Beast for money.
Yeah. Tell Mr. Beast that we want a parrot rescue.
So RM also had a question that I missed earlier. How often do you change the cage bedding? I currently use kitchen roll and change it every morning.
Yeah, so we use Easy Chick. I am a brand ambassador for Easy Chick. We spot clean it twice a day, and we full clean it once a week, and that is more than enough to keep it nice and clean. Sometimes we have to top up the bedding because a certain Pickles P likes to kick it out. Yes, she does. A little Scampy's like, it wasn't me. You say Scampy. You say Scampy. No. Exactly. So yeah, we spot clean twice a day and we full clean once a week, and we find that that's more than enough.
You know, I'd love
Snake Discovery. They're a reptile education channel. They have like 2.3 million subscribers. They've got a zoo and everything. It's really cool. Maybe we should start Snack Discovery.
I'd watch Snack Discovery.
That is my kind of channel. I definitely need a Snack Discovery. Oh no, Snake Discovery. They're a really cool channel, and their views have just exploded. So maybe if we all cross our fingers and toes, that can happen for us, and we can rescue all of the birds all of the time forever.
So Maria Brooks just asked a question, which actually is just the title to 3 of my latest videos. Can I have one lovebird? Also, how long should I let them out for? Could I let them walk on the floor? That's basically
okay. Yeah. Basically, David's channel is the answer. So yes, you can have one lovebird, but we are very pro multi-bird households because parrots are flock species, and if you only have one, you are your bird's flock. So if you're going out for any reason, it's possible that your bird is going to, potentially struggle. Of course, you can train your bird to be very independent, but they definitely feel safer when there are the rest of their flock around, whether that's you or another bird. Can they walk on the floor? Yes, as long as he's just forever spinning. Yes, they can walk on the floor, but of course, everybody in the house needs to know that your bird is on the floor so they don't come barging in and accidents happen. He just loves Scampy spinning. Hello, Pee-Pee. And what was the other question with the lovebirds? So walking on the floor, can you have one? How long should they be out for? Yeah. We always promote quality time over quantity. So it's better to have your bird out for slightly less time than maybe some of the people in these Facebook groups and things say, a terrible bird owner if your bird isn't out 24/7. It's better to have them out less, but actually have things for them to do. Because if your bird is just sitting there idly, it's quite possible that they are just going to do behaviours you don't want to see more of, such as scream or, chew the furniture and that sort of thing. If they're coming out to do training, foraging, or relationship building with you, or whatever it is that you may want to do with them, or they can forage independently while you're nearby, that's fine. But if your bird is just out and expected to just kind of sit and just look, then that's not ideal either. So there's no real right answer to it. Just use common sense, I guess, and make sure that those outings are fulfilling, but also make sure that the in-cage time is fulfilling as well, because we want to make sure that that's a good experience too, and there needs to be plenty of lovely things to do. Should we put these guys back and maybe have Chip and Fish out?
It's up to you.
We're not getting Lou and Kip out. I love to have Lou and Kip out, but I know that he'll make a beeline for this laptop like he did with the other laptop I have, and he just ripped a key off and he's broken it. We can't do it on this laptop because this is a work laptop. So would you mind trying to put the babies away?
Pickles needs to go here then.
And then come on, he's Scampy man. He's like, I'm a mummy's boy. I want to stay with mummy. So I will try my very best to keep up with the chat once David's back. But again, I really appreciate all you guys being here. It's always a fun experience to do the lives, and it's just another fun way of connecting with you guys. Just a quick one as well. Our patrons, if you are present, I know a few of you are, we've just put up a new Patreon exclusive video. Yes, please. New Patreon exclusive video about how to avoid frustration in training sessions. So that's now live if you are one of our Patreon members. So go and check that out as well. Here come the brothers. Here comes trouble. Right. Okay. Do you not want to come? Are you having a snack first? And then you can see if we've got any other. No, there's probably sassy boys. We'll do a little flock update later if I remember. Snack discovery. Okay, we're right to tickle that. Any questions? Because you kind of know where we are at the chat.
RM just said thank you for our channels. It's helped. Don't forget to encourage people, to ask questions.
Yeah, please do ask questions. This is a good place if you have any questions you want a live response to, or you want like a discussion topic, you want our thoughts on something, because David is here as well. He's helping me with the chat. So if there are any questions, do just let us know. But yeah, thanks for your kind words, RM. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here. What have we got? Oh, something else I wanted to kind of mention. Should I do a flock update or do my discussion point? So let's do a little flock update. So Lou and Kit. adorable. Kipling is still working on his relationship with David, and it's a long process. But you guys will get there. But he's a bit of a mummy's boy at the moment, and he and Louis are obsessed with going into the bedroom, going into my sock drawer, and throwing all of my socks out and laughing after they do it. It's really funny, and it keeps them entertained for a while. But they love just throwing them all out, making a big mess, and I have to go and pick them all up again. Well, that's their favourite thing to do at the moment. And thank you very, very much, Alice. You're very naughty. But thank you very much for your generosity. Again, if anybody doesn't know, we do not expect any generosity from you guys. But if anybody is sending us anything during the live stream, we call you naughty. It's like a little British thing. And you are in the naughty club if you do it. But yeah, it's very, very kind of you, Alice. Thank you. But yeah, Lou and Kip are doing really well, stepping up and that kind of thing, and working on being around hands and not biting. Or not that Louis does that; it's more of a Kipling thing. But Louis is coming to hands and is being really good with it. Baby Olive, she's doing really good as well. She's really good at her flying now. When we first rescued her, she was clipped and she just couldn't fly. And now she's zipping around all over the place. She's increasing her fitness and she's just a little bundle of fun. Still working on reinforcing her vocalizations. It's really adorable. She snuffles and says, "One, hey," and hello. So that's adorable. Chip and Fish, who are behind me, they'll come up and say a proper hello in a minute. They're a little bit hormonal at the moment, particularly Chip. And he's lost a little bit of weight because he's hormonal. Fish gains weight when he's hormonal. Chip loses it, but they're still in a safe and healthy range. And David is training them to do some fun new toys because, they're kind of famous for their little toys. So if you haven't seen David's short already on his channel, it's Chip dealing with naughty telemarketers on the telephone. It's really funny. So make sure you check that out afterwards because it's really adorable. So yeah, they've been busy doing that. And Pickle and Scampy, they've been a little bit hormonal as well because it's that kind of season now coming into spring and hormones are going to peak. And I think this is one of David's videos coming up. We wanted to kind of stress that, yes, we want to manage and reduce hormones as much as possible, but it is also a natural biological response. Sometimes there are things online like hormones are the absolute worst thing that can happen, but we need to be mindful that it is kind of natural for these behaviors to arise. It's about trying to minimize them as much as possible because, of course, they lead to undesirable things that we don't want to see more of. So that was a bit of a tangent, but yeah, they've been a little bit hormonal, but also adorable. Cheeky as ever, reinforcing Pickles' vocals as well. She's been a little bit sloppy with her stationing, so we've been working on that. She's been a superstar. I think I've covered everyone. We've got so many birds. Have we done everybody? I think that's everybody.
I think so. We've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, let's have some questions.
Maria has another question.
Yeah.
So if I'm the flock, since the lovebird is only one, if I go on vacation and leave him with someone, will he get depressed and die?
He won't get depressed and die.
Especially if he's with someone.
Yeah, he may be stressed because he will be most closely bonded to you. And something we want to stress to a lot of people is just because he's going to another human, he doesn't see that human as you. It's just another human. So if the person he's going to, he's used to them, then that's great. And you can work on getting him used to being around other people and accepting that. But there is always a risk of birds being stressed when you go away. It doesn't matter. Excuse you. It doesn't matter whether it's a single bird or a pair of birds or even a flock. If we went away on holiday, who knows when that's going to be? If we went away on holiday, I imagine the birds would be like, "Well, where's mummy and daddy?" Not to anthropomorphize, but you know what I mean? Like, they'll be like, where are my humans who do the usual routines with us? So something to bear in mind. I do have a video on how to keep your bird busy when you're out, which would apply to these kinds of things. So you can get your bird used to being more independent on their own, but equally they do need companionship of some kind, whether that's you, another person, or other birds, in order to fulfill that social need that they do have as a flock species. Do you want to come say hello to everybody? No? Do you want to come say hello? Mr. Shushy Man.
He's very grumpy.
It's Mr. Shushy Man. He says, hello. Are you barking? Are you barking at everyone? Say hello. Oh, he's such a handsome boy, isn't he? Yes, that's right. Very cheeky man. You love seeing yourself on camera, don't you? You want to go into that? Okay. Well,
Sherry also asked what is Patreon?
Patreon is our exclusive members only area. There are different tiers that you can sign up with on Patreon. I've got links on my YouTube channel page and my link trees on Instagram and stuff. And it is a platform where you can join our exclusive chat server, which is on Discord, in a very small, close-knit community of respectful people. We also have lots and lots of exclusive video content on there, videos that are not on YouTube, on more complex topics or topics that we feel more appropriate for Patreon. When you do sign up to Patreon, you get access to all of the content we've already created. I feel like there's got to be like 100, 200 videos already on there, loads of text posts. And you get to find out if anything else is going on behind the scenes before anyone else. Patrons also get discounts to things like our courses, which I'll talk about again in a minute, just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So there's loads of different perks and different tiers and things like that. Handwritten card from me. This wasn't meant to be an ad, but if anyone is interested in Patreon, go and check it out, because we put a lot of content on there, and it's always fun to tell people stuff on there first that other people don't know about yet. So it's a fun experience, and we love our Patreon community and our channel members, of course, as well.
Melinda had a question.
Yes.
I have a question. A few months ago, I bought a flight cage for my 6 budgies. I put it next to their old cage. The old cage has the same height as the flight cage. My budgies often hang around in the flight cage, but still sleep in their old cage. How do I get my budgies to sleep in their new flight cage so I can remove the old cage?
If you've still got the old cage in there, they're naturally going to gravitate towards it because it's what they're more comfortable in. So if they're okay with the new cage, I would say first thing in the morning, pick a morning, make sure that cage is decked out with everything they need, whether that's moving things from the old cage to the new cage, and take the old cage out, because when that's always going to be in there, they're naturally going to want to be in that old cage because that's what they're most familiar with. So if they're already comfortable in and around that cage and that kind of thing, but they don't sleep in there yet, make sure it's decked out first thing in the morning, because we don't want to do changes later in the day because that can lead to things like night frights. Get it all set up, ready to go. Take the old cage out where they can't have access to it in that room. If you need to use it for something else, that's cool. But that's where you're going to have more success with having them go in there, but also set them up for success too if your birds are target trained. Exactly. Chibi, do you want to talk about target training? Target train your birds in and out of that cage. So again, they're used to going in there, because you don't want to get to bedtime and then they'll be like, yeah, I'm not going in now. So that's something to consider too. Oh, okay. I was gonna show everyone Chip, but apparently he doesn't fancy it. Do you want to come in? You have brother as well, is that why? I'm gonna say, hello everybody. It's me, Chibi. I've come to see you. You're snapping at everyone. You are?
Do we have a video on how to prepare birds when we go out or go away? I have my vacation video, I guess, but that's not really the same.
Maybe. I mean, we've made so many videos now, so
yeah,
maybe.
Maria, honestly, I'd suggest just going through me and Sophie's back catalogue, or maybe trying searches like vacation and stuff, because honestly, we'd like to link it now, but off the top of my head, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Just hundreds of videos. Klaus asked, I kind of asked, responded to it in the chat. It's kind of an obvious answer because I know what you'd say,
yeah.
But what do you prefer between Patreon and membership?
As in like channel memberships.
What do we prefer people do?
Well, Patreon, you get
a lot more.
You get loads on Patreon. You get the handwritten card. You get
even at the lowest tier, they get more.
Even at the lowest tier, you get more. From the second tier upwards, you get all of the videos that are already on Patreon, and there are loads all the way from back when we started our Patreon. You get all the exclusives of what's going on behind the scenes that nobody else knows about. You get the discounts to courses. There's a lot more on Patreon, but the channel members is cool as well, because you get custom emojis for the chats on lives and I think comments and stuff like that as well. And it's also a way for people, again, we don't expect anyone to sign up for this stuff. There's no obligation. We don't expect money from people because it's weird, but the YouTube channel memberships has the lowest possible financial option. So if we have had people in the past who are like, I just want to support just a little bit here and there, like kind of like a buy me a coffee type thing. So if you wanted to go for the lowest option, that's an option for you. But again, there is absolutely no pressure to sign up for any of this. We would never expect any of that from anyone. We're just grateful for you guys to be here as part of our respectful and friendly community and watching our videos, which are all free on YouTube or free content on Instagram. But for people who do want to access more, there are paid for options, but the people who don't want to pay for it are not missing out as well. I hope that
we
makes
try
sense.
to give like stuff for everyone, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of our free content is the stuff you really need, but the extra content just enhances everything. We give a bit more basically, because ultimately, you know, we want to give everything for free. If we were rich, we'd give everything for free, but we also need some money to support ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do anything basically. So
yeah,
that's
ultimately, it's part of our business. You know, we have our business Best Behaved Birds, which is our parrot behaviour and training consultation service. We have our courses on there, which I'll talk about again in a second for anyone who's just joined us a little bit later. But that is also part of our business. And when we are offering these kind of memberships, it helps us to create even more content. It supports us supporting, you know, rescuing more birds, that kind of thing. But ultimately, we'd love to give everything for free all the time. We'd love our lovely giant rescue centre and stuff. But I think, well, Fisher said it all really. We're a little way off yet.
Sherry just talked about recall, how to get them to land on you, how to teach us to land.
It's all about reinforcing that stepping up to start off with. So a nice consistent stepping up. We prefer our birds to come to us recall this way. Sorry about my rooted hands. Yeah, we've got, both of us have got recall training videos, so I'd recommend doing that. But having a consistent step up is crucial, because then your bird is going to feel safe. I know some people do different things with their hands for recall. Some people do 1 finger, 2 fingers. We prefer a nice full flat hand that's really secure. Some people do it like this, but it's not as easy for birds to land like that. But I know some birds with disabilities do need to have a flat surface. But Louis, with 1 leg, he lands like this, like everybody else. So that's a good place to start off with.
I think we've caught up.
Cool.
Quite a few people watching, but not as many questions as we normally
have.
No,
if anyone has any questions, do feel free to shout them in the chat. But I'm just going to quickly talk about the course again. So if you heard the course spiel at the start, feel free to make yourself a coffee or something. But just for anyone who has joined us a little bit later, our Parrot live nutritional enrichment course is now live to book. It is £15 and it's an hour and a half of us guiding you through nutritional enrichment for parrots. It's great for diet conversion. It's great for if your bird is already on a great diet but you want to go even further to mentally stimulate your bird. David is probably going to link it in the chat again, and we're really excited for it because it's kind of a starting point for us to offer more courses, both active and passive courses, and it's just going to be really fun. There's 2 different time slots to choose from. We've got 9 a.m. GMT and 7 p.m. GMT on Saturday the 11th of March, so it caters for all time zones around the world. So hopefully that means that everybody is going to have a chance to take part. And as we do, Gina's very naughty, part of the naughty club as well, with Alice in the naughty corner today. Thank you very much, Gina. Gina's wonderful. Everyone here is wonderful, but Gina is also very wonderful, and we love having her join us and be part of our community. So thank you very, very much. You're very generous. David's linked to the course shop again.
So when we talk a little bit more about a little bit of almost like a little mini preview about what's on there, just give them a little.
I don't want to give too much away because
just you know that.
Do you want to come?
Because nutritional enrichment could sound like a lot of things, but it's a big topic and it's something that's very important. Because if your parrot is on all seed or all pellet, for example, they may not be getting as much nutritional enrichment, and basically that means fun from food, fun from looking for food, fun from getting food. And we're going to cover that topic, how you can teach your birds that, why it's important, what senses they use, all the sort of interesting things in that topic.
We will go into the science behind it as well. I think David's done.
Yes.
We're going to go into the science behind it. We'll have further reading and journals that you can go and take a look at, or books. You're welcome for answering the question. So we're going to go into the science behind it. We will look at different examples, why it's important for birds, why it's important for us, and I think we'll probably leave it there because I'll end up just telling you about the entire course, and then we want people to want to take part because again, if this all goes well, then hopefully it will pave the way for even more courses and downloads and things like that, which we're really excited about. When do we have to book by? I mean, to be honest, you could book on the day if you really wanted to, but I'd recommend getting in quick because spaces are limited. We've tried to have it accessible for as many people as possible, but obviously we can't accommodate thousands of subscribers. So I'd recommend getting in quickly when you can, if you're able to, because I don't know if and when they're going to sell out. They they may not, I don't know. But yeah, if you want to take part, I'd recommend booking when you can, because then you'll have your space secured. And for anyone who is booking, once you have gone through the booking process, it normally takes about an hour to come through, but you'll get a download link. If you download that link, you will get a document with all the Zoom link information and some other pointers about how the course is going to be run. So that's how it kind of works. If anyone's interested, we'll stop the whole ad thing now and maybe get into some more bits and pieces on just parrots and stuff. I'm going to have a little drink. Right,
so did you tell Melinda about talking to Dr. Abbott, or was that something that was a while ago?
I've mentioned that we're talking to a vet soon. I haven't said who or what. Why?
Just mentioning it. I thought, I didn't remember mentioning
David and I are both going to be filming a video with an avian vet coming up, and our very good friend, Dr. Jason Korean. I know a lot of you guys enjoy his content as well. You can't decide what they want to do. So yeah, we're going to be filming that soon. So again, if anybody has anything that, like, burning questions they want to ask an avian vet or Jason, go onto either of our community posts or drop us a DM or something, because we're kind of collating ideas of what to kind of talk about. I think David's kind of doing. Do you want to talk about what you're doing or no?
I don't. I feel like I'm sort of like taking over a little bit, because it's all my links. But basically, all I'm doing is some myth. But my video is going to be myth busting. Sophie's going to be more focused on talking to Dr. Abbott and the vet, and talking about various topics around diet, nutrition, and also general veterinary advice and stuff, because it's a rare opportunity to have such a distinguished person. For me, I wanted to talk to Jason and Dr. Abbott and talk about all the different myths that people perpetuate with regards to vets, how much they know, what they do know, what they don't know, and then sort of cover the diet stuff as well. So yeah, all sorts of myth busting. Yeah,
and the cool thing is, everyone says, oh, my vet says this is what vets say. Well, we're actually going to find out what vets know and what they say, because we're going to be talking live to one. So that's going to be really exciting. We're really eager to do that. So yeah, if anyone has any burning questions, obviously not medical questions, because that's not what we're doing, or individual issues, but if you have anything you've always wanted to ask an alien vet, but you haven't felt like you can, or that kind of thing, do let me know, and I will see if I can include it as part of our discussions. For Zoom, it is an app, so make sure the app is downloaded and updated and stuff before you join, and you can also do a test link if you know anybody else who has Zoom. Do just a test call to make sure it works on the device that you're using, but as long as you're using an account and you're signing in that way, then there shouldn't be an issue. If you had any issues joining the call, let us know. And the boys are off, but just make sure it's working beforehand. I'm a very anxious person, and I've been stressing out about this course because I'm worried like the internet's going to go wrong or whatever it is. I know it's going to be fine, but when things like this are happening, I'm sure it's going to be totally fine. Just make sure you've got the Zoom app and it is updated before the course.
So we have a question from Miss C. Millie. If a cockatiel has been by itself for a while, do you think it's a good idea to introduce it to another cockatiel?
Yes, it's a simple answer. Of course, it can take some time, as it can with any bird. But absolutely, you can definitely start, obviously going nice and slow, but introducing a bird to your current bird. Just take it slow, make sure we've got separate cages to start off with. Baby Olive, she's currently on her own, but we're seeing signs now that she might finally be ready to have a companion, but we kind of thinking about bonding her up with Louis and Kipling. So there's no right or wrong age to start with bonding, but you always have to be prepared that they may never get along, but we can always achieve tolerance, as we always say. We're caught up on the chat.
What's our favourite cockatiel mutation?
Oh, do you know what? People ask me this all the time. I don't really know. I think they're all beautiful. We were having a chat about conure mutations earlier, weren't we? Because
we don't really care about colours too much. I mean, they're all pretty.
It's not that we
nice.
Don't care. It's just like, it doesn't really bother me. Like, we've got Fish, who's a standard grey male, and he's beautiful. I don't mind what colour mutation I have with the birds. I'm not bothered what their fancy names are and that kind of thing. I know some people are real sticklers for it. It really doesn't bother me, to be honest. All I care about is that my birds are happy and healthy. I think they're all beautiful. I couldn't possibly choose because I think they're all lovely. So, do you have a favourite?
No, I share that opinion. I like that they look different. I like all the lovely colours. But for me, it's just the same as Sophie. With the conures, especially when people get these massive debates about this mutation, I'm like, I don't care. For me, it's about the behaviour and about their personalities. I don't really care what mutation. That's not important information to me. That's why sometimes I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, like with pickles. I can't even remember what she is now. Cinnamon turquoise, pineapple turquoise, one of those two. But when we first got her, firstly, the place we got her from said that she was a pineapple. And we knew that wasn't right. Then we were told she was a cinnamon. Then it's something turquoise. You know what? It really doesn't bother me. People get really aggy on like my old Konya videos when I talk about pickles being a cinnamon, which she's not. I really don't mind. You know, she's happy, she's healthy, she's pickles pea. That's all we care about. So.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a bit of a rant, unnecessary, but you know, that's the views.
Yeah, personality totally, Miss Emily. Exactly.
Exactly, and we love them for it. I think it's probably time for them to go in if they're going to start chewing up the wall.
Yeah, this naughty behaviour.
Not that this is how we train birds to not chew the wall, but when we're on live streams, we're not doing perfect training sessions.
Yeah, you've got this isn't like a good snapshot of what we normally do with the birds on live streams, because obviously they'll be out for much longer, they'll be doing a lot more training and stuff. It's because it's a live stream. Yeah, that's one of the funny things about snapshots. We haven't actually had much criticism over it, but because it's only such a short snapshot of our lives, do you remember we used to get it a lot? We used to do videos and there would be only one bird out, or there'd be no bird out. And people are like, the birds are in all the time. It's like, no, we're filming for like maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and it's better for the birds to be in then, and then they come straight out again.
Well, we also had, I think both of us had a comment the other day from someone who really likes to have videos and stuff, but I think maybe we misinterpreted their comment. But they said, oh, you know, why are chip and fish always out together? They need to learn to be apart, that kind of thing. When they do come out separately, they're quite happy to be independent from each other, but there's two things. So firstly, they're a flock species. They are each other's flock. They are bonded brothers. So they are naturally more drawn to each other, but they can be independent. But also, it's just nicer to have both birds out when we're filming or doing Instagram, whatever it is, or lives, because that's just more entertaining for you guys. You guys love chip and fish. It's not just fish or just chips. So that's something to bear in mind with any creator, really. You only see a snapshot of what we choose to put online. And of course, as we said, with the lives, we're just trying to make sure that everyone is behaving themselves and being quiet. So that's why our training is not exactly how we do it outside of a live, but Kipling's laughing as if you can hear that. What a cheeky monkey. So yeah, that's just a thought. And we'll be around for another, I don't know, 10-ish minutes, less than 10 minutes, by the way, guys, just to let you know.
And Maria had a good question, by the way. Maria's like, how often do you feed coconut oil for your birds? How much of it should be given? If they don't like it, could I add it to his chop?
We don't have a set schedule for feeding coconut oil. I don't know, once a week, once every couple of weeks. We don't have, you know, I'm not like, oh, it's coconut oil day.
You don't overdo it, really, do you?
Yeah, you don't want to overdo it. It's really, really healthy. I feel like I'm saying this like all throughout the video. I have a video all about why coconut oil is amazing for your birds. It really is. So feed it sparingly, but if you can make it part of your bird's diet, they'll definitely benefit from it. If your bird doesn't like it, again, you can kind of use training, like positive reinforcement training, for anything like that, for getting birds interested in different foods. So say, for example, they take a step closer to a spoon of some coconut oil, give them a treat. Step closer, maybe beak to coconut oil contact the first time, give them a treat, that kind of thing. Some people do put it in chop. If you're going to do that, I would say put it in the day's chop, like the fresh chop you're just putting in a bowl. Don't make up a batch of chop and then put coconut oil like melted in there, because that's just going to be really gross and just not work at all. So if you are going to offer coconut oil in chop, do it on the day so that it's fresh and it's not going to go weird. There are other ways of offering it. You can sort of include it in bird breads if you're using it for like diet conversion, or bird breads during molting. We don't really recommend cooked foods at all, but obviously there are certain times of the year where things like bird breads and eggs and that kind of thing are safe for your birds and appropriate. Sometimes you can like freeze a bit of coconut oil on like a little lolly stick, and that could be quite nice in the summer. I know that's quite a popular thing for dogs as well, like frozen blocks of coconut oil. So you can maybe freeze a little bit and they can lick it. Again, it's a different way of offering it, but it's awesome. I mean, I hate everything coconut. It makes me gag. I don't like it at all. You don't mind too much?
I don't mind coconut. I used to be like a bit funny, but I don't mind.
I can't be doing with it. So
I like the smell. I like the smell.
I do it for the birds, but I don't like it at all.
So Ash88 has another question. It's just a common question, and one, you know, it's kind of can be tough to deal with. So is there a way to discourage your parrots from messing with things they're not supposed to? I love to sit and poop on my wall-mounted TV. I've even hung toys and ceiling next to it. I just move them somewhere else until they give up. But I think that they know they aren't supposed to be there. That's some of their favourite places to be.
It's a tricky one because birds are pretty single-minded, and if they think that you don't want them to be somewhere, they'll probably keep going back. Of course, it's better to kind of offer alternatives like, hey, this is actually a more fun place to be. This is the best place to be over here doing something else. And again, train your bird to recall or station somewhere else is useful. But sometimes you obviously have to get them out of dangerous situations. If they're making a beeline for a wire and they want to chew it, that's obviously not cool. But yeah, poop on the back of the TV or on monitors is something we're familiar with because birds just love it. There's something about TVs they just really love.
Yeah, like my monitor, which I need to get rid of now.
So yeah, it's better to redirect, but we also appreciate it is part of living with parrots is that they're single-minded and they want to get into mischief, and especially if there's something we're really interested in, like mobile phones, remote controls, Xbox controllers, PlayStation controllers. If we're interacting with that, because obviously that's how we game or that's how we use our phones, they're like, oh, my favorite human is interacting with this thing. This must be really awesome. I'm going to explore with my beak because that's how I explore. And then there's bite marks and everything. So that's something to bear in mind. So hopefully that kind of answered your question. Yes, Tracy, coconut oil is on Amazon. I have some in my Amazon store, or depending where you are in the world, there are other places to get it. But yes, it's definitely on Amazon as well.
They trained you, Ash, basically. It's common with the boys. The boys in the curtain rails basically are television. They love going up there. They sit on my monitor, which I don't really mind much because it doesn't really bother. They don't really chew or do anything. But up there, they like to chew and be annoying. So that's their TV. It's nice and high. It's interesting. They can chew things they're not supposed to. And initially, we made a similar mistake. It's common sense. You think you remove them, you redirect them, put them somewhere else, and you give them a reward. But in reality, they're training you to move them somewhere else, and they make those links. They know that if I go up there, get attention, I get moved elsewhere, I get a reward. So you kind of need to break that association. Maybe if you are going to continue moving them elsewhere, move them elsewhere. Don't give them a reward or anything. Wait a little while, if you can, to then gravitate straight back and then do the treat, or redirect them completely with a different activity like foraging. Because, they're not going to link going to forage with going up there. And also, sometimes ignoring it can be useful as well, making it less appealing, less exciting.
To a point.
To a point.
Because the boys chewing the TV.
The boys are the best example up there. If Sophie's at work and they do it, I know they're not going to get in any harm. I'll let them stay up there and have a little chew, as long as I'm watching them and making sure they're not chewing anything they shouldn't do, like just a little wooden bit or whatever. And then eventually they get bored and just come down to me. But as Sophie said, that last one is an advisory, and you should always watch and make sure you're not getting something that could harm them if you're doing that.
Yeah, and sometimes, as I said, they are single-minded and they will just keep chewing and chewing and chewing. It's like, okay, that really is enough now. So it's all good fun, and that's why everything has bite marks and stuff. So we're going to be around for another couple of minutes. So if there are any other burning questions,
Adara's got a good question.
Adara, yes, do you have a favourite vocalisation? Oh, do you know what? There's so many of them. So Olive, she likes to go, what, or hey, to kind of get our attention and chat to us, or even hello. That's doing just hello. She'll say that again. Kipling. My
favourite is Kipling.
Yeah, Kipling will say his name, Kipling.
But in a really
that sort of whispery kind of like demanding way. And also he has this noise. He goes, ow, 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 which is really cute. So sometimes we have lots of weird nicknames for the birds. We call him Big Boy because he's a big sassy, bossy crimson belly. So he's now Big Boy, marching around, just funny. He says good boy. He says everything. It's really funny. So yeah, I'd say those are probably my favourites. But even Louis, he chats away. Everyone's got their own little adorable things, and that's why we love them. But again, even if we had a bird who didn't vocalise, the boys don't really say too much. That's fine. We'd still love them. But it is a fun part of living with parrots. Any other questions?
Molting, something to feed in molting.
Yeah, so I have a video on molting. Sprouts are good every day, obviously in moderating portion sizes for everything we're offering, but sprouts are totally safe and fine to offer every day, or soaked grains and nuts and seeds and things. You can offer some plain, like no oil, no salt, no nothing, no butter, scrambled or boiled egg once or twice a week when your bird is molting, just for a bit of extra protein. There's vitamin D3 in the egg yolk as well, calcium, that kind of thing. So additional protein, so garden peas as well, that kind of thing. But obviously you need to be just being mindful about how much you're offering, because obviously when birds are molting, they are using a lot of their energy reserves to do so. So it's sometimes better to offer a little bit more food, but we don't want to be increasing portion sizes so much that we are going to trigger hormones, because then we're trying to solve one problem and then creating another one. So go and check out my molting video as well, because that will definitely help.
Gina's come up with a good question. Before you feed the sprouts, do you wash them off and pat them dry?
So I rinse them every time. So rinse them twice a day. Again, sprouting videos, just all the videos. Rinse them twice a day. When I do the rinse before I serve, no, I don't pat them dry. They're served with a little bit of water on them. I just give them a good shake beforehand to try and make sure they're not just soaking wet in the bowl and excess moisture. But no, I just give them a little, just a little zhuzh and get off the moisture that way. And then serve them. But I know some people like pat them dry, but it's not necessary. We also have freeze-dried sprouts from Polly's Natural Parrot Boutique. You can get freeze-dried sprouts from China Prairie in the States. They're really cool to offer if for any reason you can't sprout, like it's too hot and the sprouts are going weird. We often do that in the summertime. Or if you have someone looking after your birds and they don't know how to sprout, you can use those too. I think they're really cool. Not an ad, just I really like freeze-dried stuff. So it's really cool that you can get it in sprouted form.
I thought I was just come up with a question as well. We have tried them, haven't we?
Microgreens, yeah. So I have had success with microgreens. We don't have like they're called like Hamina ones or something that you have in the States that are really easy. We have to like manually do the microgreens here. And it's slightly more tricky. I have tried to film the microgreens video twice, and the times that I've tried to film the microgreens video, they've gone weird. I think it's been temperature that's made them go funny. So it's on my agenda to make a microgreens video, but whenever I try and film, it's just like a curse. Like it just doesn't work. But yes, we have fed them. They do enjoy them, and they're very healthy as well. So yes, freeze-dried fruits are very yummy and tasty. And I think if there are no other questions, we are gonna wrap it up here. So thank you so much for coming, guys. It's been a pleasure as always to have you here. Fruit flies, before we go, yes, fruit flies is tricky. It's about kind of managing how much food you're putting out if they're attracted to the parrot food, trying to reduce portion sizes so there isn't a lot of food sitting out, and obviously reducing the amount of fruit we're feeding anyway. There are some traps that you can use, but you need to make sure you're not using it in bird areas. I have seen homemade traps where you can have some fruit juice in like a trap and the flies go in, but then they can't come out. But that's really hard to explain in a video. But drop me a DM if you want any info on that. But yes, thank you guys so much for coming to my live stream today. Again, if you're unfamiliar, David does a live stream on the first Saturday of every month. I do a live stream on the third Saturday of every month. And we have our course coming up, live nutritional enrichment course. Don't forget to check it out, guys, if you want to join us. It'll be lovely to have you there. Different time zones to appeal to everybody. And it's a way of helping increase the awesomeness for your birds. So thanks for coming, guys. It's been lovely to chat to you all, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you later, guys. Bye.